Hello and welcome to my new model railway and full-size train channel. If you've watched my previous videos on my old channel, you will undoubtedly be familiar with this layout, which is inspired by the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, from which I live not very far at all. As you can probably tell, it is far from a completed layout. The town end, which we started the video with, is close to where I might want it to be, but is certainly not completed at this stage. The far end, which represents Oakworth to an extent, is very definitely not completed. The track is powered on DCC, but that is literally as far as it goes at this stage. This is one of my early dioramas that I did, and my intention is to actually include this as part of the scenic part of this layout. As you can see, there is a road scene here that runs alongside the curve. I think if I was starting again, I would probably be looking at making this curve less tight than it is, because any locos that are beyond Bobo diesels or Flying Scotsman kind of A3 level really struggle with this curve. You should see my class 40 trying to get around it. It does have problems. However, as a heritage railway, I don't need to worry too much about that. And certainly for the tank engines with 2, maybe 3 Mark 1 coaches that are realistic on here, we don't have problems. So that's my Keighley and Worth Valley inspired layout, and I thought it would be good just to let you have a little bit of a look at that first, and hopefully you will see progress on this over the coming months. And now for something completely different, as the Pythons might have said. Perhaps that's stretching things here though. This is the start of what I described as my lockdown layout in a previous video. At the moment we have literally just got 2 baseboards built up. They are the scale model scenery drilled baseboards that are ready to go. First impressions of them is very positive. They're really easy to make, just require a bit of PVA, and are made in 15-20 minutes, if that, even allowing for drying time. For me, that's brilliant. I'm not the most experienced of modelers, and I'm still very much finding my way with things. If you've watched that previous video where I talked about my ideas, this is the goods yard section, if you like, of what will ultimately be a much longer modular kind of layout. Here we have the scenic break, which goes off into a fiddle yard, or at least it will do once I've got round to building that. The tunnel portal here is a standard Pico unit. At the moment it's literally just glued in place. It will need a fair bit of work doing at it to make it look more realistic. Certainly some weathering, the addition of some shrubbery around it, particularly around the bottom, and just a few things to make it look more realistic. Going from there, this is a little ratio kit that I've been working on recently. It may well not be a part of this layout, but at the moment I've just put it there with the possibility that it could be for workers being brought in to the goods yard via rail. So maybe that will happen, maybe it won't. I need to do some more research to see whether that would be at all prototypical. At the moment, I have basically glued it together, painted it up and done a little bit of weathering, but it does need some more work at it. And also I need to add some kind of notices or signs either side of the entrance to the halt there. I have fitted my first point in place here now. I'm reasonably happy with how that's gone in, and I've fitted one of the all-new Pico twist lock turnout motors. My first impression is that they really are quite easy to fit. Here's one of the boxes for them. In a future video I'll show you the underneath of this layout, and hopefully in that you'll be able to see how they fit and how easy they are to put in place, which for me is a great advantage. The idea is that from here we go into a siding farther away from the camera, and then the track nearer will again split into two, the nearest fork of which will go onto a goods shed on the third and fourth baseboards, which are not yet built. The middle one will be another siding, so it will allow some basic shunting and getting ready for goods train to take off back onto the main line in the world beyond the tunnel, so to speak. In terms of era for this, my hope is that this will work for steam locos from the later years of the Big Four, particularly LMS, and probably with some LNER possibilities too. So depending what I'm feeling like, those are quite likely. But also into early BR days on other occasions to allow me to run some quite different stock. The idea with this is for me to really get to grips with a fairly basic kind of layout, and for this we're just going to be using DC. I've got ideas about an engine shed somewhere on here, but my initial research looking into small rural locations might suggest that it would be somewhat unprototypical. If I can find something prototypical, then I will certainly include an engine shed just to keep a shunting loco associated with the goods yard. I've got a nice Bachmann Ginty now, which would certainly be a good fit for that, I think. So yeah, that's where we're up to with this layout, which just leaves Sycamore Grove. I think I will just show you some pictures of that for now, just to give you a bit of an idea, because it really hasn't moved on from my basic twin track laid across a couple of baseboards with a spur off to a depot. But hopefully that gives you some idea of the kind of things that I've been working on, some idea about my modelling interests, and yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like the video, subscribe to this new channel, and write your comments down below. If you've got any particular thoughts or ideas for me, or if you've got any ideas about items that you might be interested in me unboxing or reviewing, then please put them in the comments below. So thanks again for watching this video. I'll hope to see you soon again on this channel. Bye. Unfortunately, I couldn't seem to find my photographs of Sycamore Grove for the moment. It's a bit too hot to go up in the attic today, So that's something I'll come on to in my next video right at the start, just to give you an idea. So here's a few photos that I've taken in the past 12 months of real trains. Thanks.